part of healing, part of feeling free and whole and emotionally healthy is being able to be connected and fully grounded in our bodies and feeling well, both physically and emotionally. And for people that have experienced childhood trauma, that just naturally is often a challenge. And over the last few months, I've been talking a little bit more about stress and difficulty that we might be feeling. So today I want to walk you through a practice to help you connect and honor your body as it is in this moment. Welcome. I'm Peggy Oliveira. Thank you for joining me. So I'm actually going to walk you through a practice from my book, Deeply Rooted. But I want to talk a little bit about the impact of stress and the kinds of things that we might be thinking. Last week I shared about being in a place where things might feel a little bit hopeless, or you might feel completely powerless and that sort of thing. When we can be connected to our body, it helps us ground so that all of these thoughts, these fears that might be swimming around, not necessarily going to make them go away, but when we are connected, it helps us feel more able to navigate through whatever difficulty might be there. And when you have difficulty connecting to your body, or when you hate your body, you don't like your body, you feel ashamed of your body, for whatever reason that might be, it's really hard to be connected to your body. It's kind of pretty impossible to feel grounded in your body. And part of how we really feel grounded in the world and in our life on a daily basis is by being able to be connected to our bodies, not feel like we're disconnected and seeing it separately from ourselves. So as I walk you through this practice, I'm going to read to you the part that I wrote about some of this, and then there will be a part to pause. And if you can, if you have the time right now, you're here, I would encourage you to take this time to do the exercise, to really be with it, be present, and experience it. Now, again, if you have difficulty connecting with your body, if this is not a time for you, then just save this and come back to it another time. I would actually encourage you maybe to save this and come back to it periodically. But it's important that you feel like you're in a place emotionally where you can give yourself the space. If you're feeling really heightened right now, if you're feeling particularly having a difficulty with struggling, connecting with your body, or feeling a ton of shame around your body right now, then maybe this isn't the best time. However, if even me talking about this is making you feel uneasy, if you can, and I can't know that for you, this is a practice for trusting yourself, I would encourage you to see if you can follow along, and if it becomes too much, then you can just pause it and come back another time. But see if you can kind of stay with it. And your mind might wander, and that's perfectly okay. Just come back. This isn't necessarily a meditation really at all. I'm just going to read to you I'm going to read to you what I wrote for this particular prompt, this exercise. And I'll give you some time to pause and do the work. And then at the end, there will be another short little exercise, and then I'll do a little wrap up. So if you want to do this now, I would encourage you to try to be in a space, both in your physical space, but also within, where you can just kind of settle in, be present. And if you can, maybe grab a journal, pause and grab a journal real quick, because writing is going to be a part of this. And I think it's always helpful just to kind of jot down what you notice coming up for you. So As you settle in, I'm going to put my glasses on and grab the book. So if you're not familiar, this is deeply rooted. I wrote it in 2020, I believe. December of 2020 is when it came out. But it's a kind of a workbook, guided journal for cultivating self-compassion for healing, because you've likely heard me talk about self-compassion a lot. And there are many different kind of avenues of self-compassion that are really important along this journey. And being able to feel connected to and honoring our bodies is really important for a lot of reasons. So for the part that I'm reading, just see if you can listen and take in. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Just try to come back to the sound of my voice. If you notice anything coming up, notice, but don't try to analyze. Don't judge, just kind of notice. This isn't going to be too long. And first, I want to start with a quote that I think is so incredibly powerful, and I think I've probably shared it here before. But this kind of, as I thought about the different prompts in here and the idea of connecting to our body, this was the only quote that I thought about using. And I said to my body softly, "I want to be your friend." It took a long breath and replied, "I have been waiting my whole life for this." And just that quote, and that's by Naira Wahid. I'm going to read that again. And I want you to just notice any shift, any emotion. Maybe you find yourself really wandering this time. And I said to my body softly, "I want to be your friend." It took a long breath and replied, "I have been waiting my whole life for this." So much of our self-criticism comes from ideas we hold about our bodies. Generally, ideas created by unrealistic standards or comparisons. We judge, we neglect, and we abuse the incredible vessel which nourishes our heart, stores our memories, and fuels action on behalf of our desires. We focus on the attribute that doesn't meet some arbitrary standard, a part that doesn't work in the way someone else's might, the muscles, organs, or limbs that have let us down. Perceived flaws of our skin, color, freckles, moles, blemishes, sagging or aging, the size. Too big, too small, too tall, too short, too much of this or too little of that. I imagine you would never express or even think these judgments about someone you care about. You wouldn't, because you know these things do not define who they are, and you have no expectation their body should or needs to be a particular way for you to value them. Our bodies, even when they don't work or function optimally, are quite miraculous. Your body knows when it needs to be refueled and sends you signals. It creates pain to let you know to back off the stress you're putting on it. It whispers, or if needed, yells when you're not following its intuitive knowing. If you are able-bodied, it automatically knows how to get you from point A to point B, generally with beautiful fluidity. It knows how to heal injuries and illnesses. It feels love, joy, sadness, grief, connection, compassion, and acceptance. Take a moment now and notice what is present for you. So maybe you pause or just connect and notice. You might have sensations. You might notice a temperature or some tingling, maybe even some numbness. You may notice thoughts. Just notice. Again, no analyzing, no judgment. Are you connected to your body? Has your mind wandered somewhere else? If so, it's okay. Just come back and reconnect. How do you criticize or judge your body? And really, you don't have to necessarily think about all the times that you do, but when you think about different periods in your life, how often you have. Take a few moments to connect with a sense of appreciation for all your body does, all the strength it possesses, all the illnesses it's fought, all the ways it allows you to move through your days and your life. The way your heart knows how to beat, your lungs know how to breathe, your eyes know to blink, and your muscles know when you need a good tip-to-toe stretch. Make a list of some of the things you appreciate about your body. You have them. Let yourself think about just everyday, maybe mundane sorts of things. Things that we don't even have to think about. Our body just knows what to do, whether it's an internal organ or movement in some way. Now here, this is, I think, a really powerful practice. It can be challenging, and this is something I think that can be really helpful to come back to time and time again. Write an apology to a part of your body you've mistreated in thoughts or actions. And again, this could look a lot of different ways. In terms of thoughts, there's going to be a lot, quite likely. In terms of actions, it might be something pretty significant that might feel or seem a little more obvious. It may be in smaller ways, like not honoring your hunger or your thirst, or when you're feeling unwell, but you ignore it and don't take care of yourself. And this could be from childhood, times that you didn't take care of yourself as a child. You obviously didn't have as much power or control and things you could do. Or it could be something just an hour ago. So let yourself write an apology to that part of yourself. Seeing it, experiencing it as valuable and strong and resilient. Recognizing that that is a part of you. And when we approach it from a place of writing as an apology, to feel that sense of empathy, of regret, of an acknowledgement of the pain that it's caused by dishonoring what it's needed. This is a powerful exercise if you're able to connect and feel, experience those types of things. Now I know that having it feel real when you are, for example, maybe apologizing. I don't know, if you're a runner and you're apologizing to your knees for pushing yourself too hard. It can be hard when you're thinking, but my knees shouldn't hurt. I should be able to do this. And this is part of the reason why this practice is important, because your knees hurt because you are using them. You probably overuse them. You're probably not getting the rest that you need. You're probably not taking care of your muscles or your joints in the way that they need when you expect them to do what you want them to do, sometimes to a point that could be something that injures them. So it is a practice. It gets easier, more natural over time, which is part of the reason I think it's good to come back to it over time and do this. It can be really powerful for healing childhood trauma specifically when you think about being ill and not taking care of yourself. Because even if as a child you may have experienced trauma, but let's say you had a caregiver that was very good at taking care of you if you were ill, that's great, and that can mitigate in a sense. Maybe it can reduce a layer, I guess I'll say it that way, in terms of impact. But because we are so neglectful of our own feelings and needs, when we can take care of our bodies, when we can take care of ourselves when we're not feeling well, whether it's an injury or an illness, when we do that, we are healing that little girl or boy inside of us that spent so much of their life being neglected physically. So really, this is such a powerful practice. So after writing the apology, become friends with your body. It's been waiting your whole life. When complete, inhale, gratitude. Exhale, expectation. Now, I'd like to invite you to just be here with me in this moment. And so bring your attention to this practice, this experience. And again, notice what is present. If there's some emotion that is present, if you can, as long as it's not too strong, if it's really powerful and you're not quite sure what to do with it, distraction, healthy distraction is going to be really important. If you're just kind of noticing some emotion coming up, but it seems bearable, it seems okay, that it's there, I would encourage you to try to let yourself feel it, to allow yourself to be with it, to be with the sensation that it creates in your body. Breathing in, knowing that you're safe and that you're okay. And potentially even that allowing yourself to connect and experience this emotion is part of your healing journey. Letting yourself trust that you have the capacity to both be connected to your body, to feel and experience emotion, and to be okay. And even more than being okay, that this is part of your healing. So give yourself some space if you can afterward to just let yourself be, to notice what is present. And I would really encourage you to journal. Spend a few minutes, maybe longer if you want, but spend a few minutes and just write. Don't censor yourself. Just let yourself right? Let it flow. It doesn't have to make sense. Just let yourself express. I would love to hear from you. What came up for you? How this was for you? Anything that surprised you? I would really love to know what you thought of this particular exercise. Let me know. I hope that it feels helpful. I know it can feel uneasy. It can feel uncomfortable. And while it also may seem like this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with self-compassion, it actually really does, because we do hold so much judgment and shame and disconnect from our bodies. This practice helps us connect with it in a way that is appreciative, that is honoring, that is kind, and ultimately compassionate. So thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time.